Krishna was only 5 days aged. He was in Gokul. Kans sent his one of demon, lady demon, Putana, to kill Krishna. Oh, she make his shape so beautiful, more than Jashoda, because she knew so many Maya. She can be by shape beautiful than any gopi, but the mood of mother cannot come. For a moment, some beauty may come, but temporary. But qualities cannot come like a mother. She took a beautiful mother shape and went in the courtyard of Jashoda Maiya. He took the shape of mother, but there was no milk in her breasts. It cannot be. If there is a child, then milk will come. Otherwise, never it will come. She took very dangerous and very powerful poison in her breasts and gave it to Krishna. Oh my child, beautiful child. Oh, your mother is no mother, but I am your mother. And he was going, oh lalla, like this. You know Lala? A beautiful, darling son. Mother Jashoda and Rani was there sitting, but they could not check, because they saw that, oh, any lady, heavenly lady has come, and she is like mother, I am not like mother. Oh, Krishna closed his eyes. And like child, he was like weeping. Oh, my Lalla, don't weep, take milk. And then with one hand, she pumped his breast so that poison go in the mouth of Krishna and he will die. But Krishna was not such a boy, or not a only ignorant child or Lalla. He was so powerful. He took whole poison. And also his life, soul, took off. And then what? She began to cry, save me. And he became about 12 miles long and breadth. And wanted to go to Kans. But Krishna told, oh, once I accepted anyone, I never give up. So I will not give up you. I will make you, my mother you. At once Krishna took his soul, purified. She became pure. Body was dead, but she became so pure. And then he sent at once to Golok Vrindavan. Oh, you should be mother like there and serve me there. So if anyone artificially does like this, Krishna accepts and sends it to Golok Vrindavan. And she, like motherlyhood, she went there. But not like Jashoda. Like a nurse or anything. Oh, he went. And he can see Krishna. And she can, serve anyhow. So Krishna is how causeless, merciful. Aho bakiyam kalakutam jighansya payad appasadvi leve gating dhatri uchitang tato kangva dayalu saranam. What is the meaning? You know? So Krishna is so merciful. So who are foolish that giving up Krishna they will serve anyone? Understand? If anyone is not serving Krishna, giving up, and he is serving another demigods, not only demigods, even to Ramchandra, even to Dwarkadhish, even to Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, they are not so intelligent. If they are not doing bhajan of himself, Nandanandan, Jashodanandan, Radha Kanta, Ras Bihari. Their life is in vain. So our object is to serve this Krishna. Very pathetic and very beautiful and also causeless merciful. Then, how he is merciful, more we can see. How he is sweet. Oh, there was a